Hello, and welcome to a very special edition of the Remember I'll Readathon. I am joined by Kristina Horner.
Hey!
Booktuber and old school Harry Potter fan all around, giant Harry Potter fan.
Forever.
I'm sure most of you know Kristina, but if you don't, she was in the Parcel Mouths.
That was close.
Ooh, wow.
That was so close.
Oh man.
Parcel Mouths.
The Parcel Mouths back in the day, and also, what is your channel name? Did I Talk to Snakes?
It is I Talk to Snakes. I did change it, so it's just my name.
It is just Kristina
And I
now?
have I have youtube.com/Kristina.
Nice.
But you guys, because you're Harry Potter fans, can be privy to the fact that my channel is actually I Talk to Snakes.
So today we wanted to take a quick break from all of the book summaries and just talk sort of generally about our experiences rereading the books. So we're like the Potter generation. And so we read the books as we were growing up as kids and teenagers, and now, you know, starting to reread them as adults. If you've been watching the Remember I'll Readathon, you have seen my existential crises of growing up and how old I feel now.
Oh my god, right? So I reread the first four like a million times when I was younger. And then I got so involved in fan fiction and Wizard Rock and everything that I felt like I was experiencing so much Harry Potter that I actually didn't reread the books that much. So
that's how I've been with Harry, working for the Harry Potter Alliance. I have to look at the books every now and then when we're gonna make references and stuff.
Right.
So I feel like I don't really feel like I need to be reading them. I'm getting the fix.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think it's partially because some Harry Potter fans have read them all a million times, and I just am not really naturally much of a rereader. I don't reread books a lot in general.
Yeah.
And so the fact that I read 5 and 6 probably 2 times, and I've only read 7 once.
Me too. I'm about to read it for the second
Oh
time
my God,
for the readathon.
Can I get a high five for that? Because I feel like a monster sometimes when I tell people that. A lot of times when I go back and do reread books, I realize I've grown so much and I've learned all these things, and this isn't what it was to me when I first read it. And I know that probably won't happen with Harry Potter, but what if it does? You know?
It has happened for me.
Really?
Yes.
See, and it scares me.
Well, okay, it hasn't. You know, a lot of the founders of the Harry Potter Alliance are 10 years older than me, so they all did read the books in college or just out of college, and they had such different interpretations of the characters. They saw Harry as this nerdy underdog, and I was just no, he's kind of cool.
No, he's awesome.
He's a year older than me.
Yeah.
And they were always how are these kids doing all of these things? Where are the adults? And I was what do you mean? We're kids. We're invincible. We
don't
can do
even
whatever.
notice adults.
Yeah,
they're not
exactly.
Even there.
And now I'm rereading it, and I'm just constantly why are you not telling an adult about this?
Yeah.
Or have these adults had the proper training where permission slips formed? And I'm why am I thinking this?
This is completely unrelated, but I rewatched some Rugrats lately.
Yeah?
And as a kid, you only care about the babies, and the parents are just there.
Yeah.
And I realized in rewatching it, the parents have their own plot line every episode.
Wait, really?
They do, and it's so much more relevant to me now. I'm oh yeah, had to fix the hose because you had to fix the garden, and I'm that's so much more relevant to me than gotta get the cookies today.
I mean, one thing I've noticed especially too is with Snape and Voldemort, the way that they treat Harry didn't seem weird to me as a kid, because it was yeah, Harry's saving the world, you know? But now it's just you're talking to a 12-year-old, or you know,
I get
and it's
outraged.
Yes!
I get outraged. I'm you are bullying an 11-year-old,
yeah.
and you are a grown man, and you should know better.
Yeah,
this is
so
unacceptable.
Weird. You're pathetic, man.
Yeah, this is just sad.
It
this
really
is. Really
is.
sad.
It's cringeworthy.
Yeah. So an opposite experience that I had, and this was the controversial thing that I always had growing up, is that as a kid, I did not like Hagrid. I did, and people get I get that response all the time. But as a kid, I was just God, he's just so annoying. His food is gross. He's always getting them in trouble. Who sends kids to help with a dragon? Who sends kids into the forest? And I was just God, Hagrid again. And I struggled with his accent, and I was oh, I don't know. I grew up with 2 parents who loved me. I didn't know what it was like to not have parents, and I didn't know what it was like to need to have that person that you can turn to that cares about you and is sort of a parental figure. I
heard someone say how Hagrid's actually kind of the best parental figure Harry had, because he had so many, you know, Dumbledore kind of using him to win the war, Sirius thinking he's James, Molly Weasley just being a little too coddling of him, and Hagrid is he's there all the time. At the end,
there for him.
Unconditionally there for him, and not afraid to tell him, you know, Harry, you're doing it wrong right now.
Yeah.
You're being mean to Hermione, or you don't need to be bad talking Snape or whatever.
Right, and so now in hindsight, I'm so ashamed of how much I found Hagrid to be annoying.
I think I was kind of ambivalent about Hagrid, when I first read the books, but the first book, I was just filled with so much love for Hagrid. I just could not stop being oh my god, he's just the literal best.
Yeah.
He is such a good
giant,
guy.
warm-hearted teddy bear.
Yeah,
like I just love him,
absolutely.
and I was just so stupid as a kid.
Well, I mean, he is not without his faults,
right?
And that accent was really hard to read.
It was, especially at like 11 years old. You're just like, what?
My mom was like reading the books to me for the first one, and she just was like, I can't even. She probably skipped a bunch.
Because you can't even read it out loud because it's written into the books.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I also found the spew campaign very irritating as a kid because I was just like, Hermione, shut up. Like, God, Hermione talking about spew again. Yeah. But now, again, I'm like, wow, I understand so much what it feels like to care about a cause and feel like you're shouting out to the void and nobody's listening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing that I really like have realized now, like rereading that as I've like grown into an activist, is like that also wasn't great activism on Hermione's part, you know? Like, it was kind of like white saviory, like not listening to like what they actually wanted, what they actually needed, just like assuming what they wanted. But it's like, I think it's such an important part of like Hermione's growth. Here's when she realizes Hogwarts is imperfect and she tries to take action, and like you can see the passion there, and you can see like she clearly like has the intelligence and the resources to like make something happen. She just hasn't like
her heart's in the right place.
Yeah, her heart's in the right place.
You know,
but
didn't think to ask.
yeah.
What they might want.
Yeah,
I just reread for the first time just the first book because of the illustrated edition coming out. The first book and the first movie are very similar. Like there was like this one scene, like a completely inconsequential scene, but Harry and Ron like run into Draco in the hallway and they just have like a little back and forth, and it just wasn't something that was in the movie, and I had completely forgotten that it existed. And it was like this beautiful little nugget of like new information I got to re-experience.
Yeah.
And I know that there's so much more that was left out of the movies in the later books, and that's what I'm the most excited about. Just getting to re-experience. It's almost like getting to like experience things for the first time again.
I haven't reread the 5th, 6th, and 7th hardly at all. And there's stuff I'm like, I don't even know what's gonna happen next.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa.
I know, we always like lament that we can never re-experience Harry Potter for the first time, but like I almost feel like I can.
Okay, so let's see what people are saying over in the Owlery this week.
Okay.
We found this from Paige. They say, so did Dumbledore know the extent to which this was true at the time?
So Harry says, Voldemort put a bit of himself in me, and then Dumbledore responds saying, it certainly seems so.
I don't know.
Oh,
do you think, like, I always, because I mean, we never get, like, as much information as we need from Dumbledore.
Right, yeah, and you don't know, because he's clearly doing a bunch of research on his own in the background, and you have no idea at what point he knows about this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, is he just waiting for the right time to clue Harry in about it?
Dumbledore's kind of not the only one who does that. Like, when I was reading Prisoner of Azkaban, there were so many times when, like, Lupin could have just said that he knew Harry's parents, you know?
That's true.
And I feel like they could have had a great connection, and it would have cleared some things up.
What was his motivation for keeping that secret from him?
I think the only thing was he maybe didn't want Harry to know how close he was with Sirius.
Maybe. Oh, because that's like an awkward thing at that point. Like, that's something that he wants to put distance between himself. And Harry didn't even know.
Especially because, you know, Remus and Sirius were clearly lovers.
Clearly. I mean, yeah.
There's
no
just
debating that. It's just awkward. It's just awkward for Harry.
Yeah, he doesn't want to have to talk about his ex to, like, someone who's basically his godson.
And I don't think anyone had that talk with Harry yet either, so it's like a whole deeper thing.
Yeah. Oh, I have read so many of those fan fictions where, like, like Wolfstar fanfic where, like, Lupin has to, like, come out to Harry, but, like, Harry doesn't know anything about, like, relationships.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like,
because
Lupin
what
has
did
to
the
explain
Dursleys
it.
teach him? Like,
Yeah, oh, yeah, seriously.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh, that's amazing.
And speaking of, we just filmed a video about fanfiction over on Kristina's channel, so you should go over there and watch that video and make sure you subscribe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah,
on the
no
HBS
problem.
channel. And if any of you want to continue to join in the discussion, leave your comments down below and also join in the hashtag #RememberAllReadathon. Thank you all for watching and happy reading.
Bye.
This book is so awesome. I can do anything. This book is so awesome.